and a big welcome to the 64 doors. Today we're going to open door 54. We're going to speak about this archetype from a human design perspective and a Jinky perspective, and we're going to bridge those two systems to get a wider, a better understanding. We also want to see how we can invite this energy into our lives and how we can start to embody it. So Gate 54 comes from the root center and meets Gate 32 from the splenic center. Together they form the channel of transformation, a design of being driven. And in this 54, we have that drive, a drive that has to do with bettering and transforming one's life. And since it's the tribal circuitry, it also does this for the tribe. With the 32 in that channel, it's also about recognizing or discerning, where are those allies in the tribe that can actually help us to climb the ladder. And in the shadow frequency, if you go to the gene keys, we see that the word is greed. So in the shadow frequency, this gate really kind of is attached to or rely on the power structures in 3D, which is mainly about money. Thinking that if it has the powers in this 3D, what is kind of tangible and things that you can count, then it's safe and it's on the right track. And that becomes very much focused on itself, not for the whole, and many times not even for the tribe, but this ambition to just go forward, to just have more. And it's connected to the programming partner, which is the 53, that has to do with immaturity. So it's this immature way of thinking that there is not enough for everybody. So you have to think about yourself, and you have to take what you can take. And especially when this gate is in the not self, so maybe if it's in an open center, or if a person is really stuck in a low frequency, it's going to create a lot of offense around it. It's really going to be over ambitious and not really care of what is destroyed on the way, on that ascension, on that drive that is doing to have more. And it's also kind of hunger that is never going to be enough. And like we said, it's a gate that comes from the root center. So it's an adrenal gate. It has to do with the adrenal system. So it is this kind of stress, the kind of sympathetic nervous system that kind of turns on, and then the parasympathetic nervous system never turns on, because it's always in ambition, it's always driving, it's driving harder, and it kind of one day can just fall down dead, basically. It's also a projected channel, so it needs recognition. So the whole thing about the 54 is that you cannot really do anything in the world before it's recognized. So that's also part of why it can drive itself to not last anymore. On the higher frequencies, when this 54 can start to have a higher perspective of things, and to include the tribe and to include the whole, and it can see that it has that potential to recognize the other people in the tribe and the other people that can be invited, so that there is an ascension or a drive, or an aspiration that can be done together. So it is that shift from just thinking about yourself to think about more than just yourself. And you could say that all those resources that the 54 can create when in its ambition, they are redistributed when it goes up to a higher frequency. So then the aspiration and the dreams and the drive, all that becomes something that becomes like a joint project, and there is a redistribution. There is this thinking or knowing that there is enough for all. That is very inspirational in the 54, because it inspires others to also start dreaming and go on that journey. And in the highest frequency, it's really about going beyond 3D, inviting 5D, 7D to really ascend together, to create a heaven on earth here, and to not be in that stress of having been thrown out of paradise and having to fight your way up from that kind of perseverance and that fighting energy that we were looking at last week in last gate 38, that really has to do with the struggle of always having to fight. from that root center. And I wanted to also speak about some of the questions you can ask yourself to make sure that you can make that shift from maybe the lower frequency to the higher gift and city frequencies of this gene key. And also some ways of going there that are more like beyond just the mind, so you can also create affirmations of yourself. So let's see. So some of the things you can ask yourself are, is your integrity be compromised by your ambition? Do you have a desire to accumulate in your life just for the sake of having a lot without really actually using it or needing it? Do you feel sometimes like you actually even gave up on your ambition because things didn't go well, and then what was the point? How are you in terms of materialism? Are you rejecting it? Are you inviting it? Do you feel like there is a healthy relationship to it? And then the question we can always ask ourselves: how can I open up to more receiving? And can you take 3 things today that you have that you either can give away or redistribute in some way? And then how can you create affirmations to kind of not just be in the mind and asking yourself questions and answering them in a logical way? How can you create affirmations to just repeat? And you could say, I'm clear, and I'm ready to do whatever it takes to open up for more in my life. Or there are clarity in my actions, and all the energy that I have is benefiting me and the whole. Or I'm recognized, and the universe helps me to have the right allies. These kinds of things. And then you can just repeat those things and just bask in the energy, the higher frequencies. And there's also going to be an attunement that help you go in the kind of the visualization, the feeling of the higher frequencies. And there's going to be like a meditation where it kind of walked into an attunement of the 54 and this archetype. So welcome to this door, and I wish you a really beautiful week with this beautiful dreaming aspiration gene key. Thank you.